Wednesday yoga. I need it as much as anything, and when I think about bringing this class to you, you know, sometimes we overwork ourselves, and sometimes we don't have a lot of energy, and these are two extremes. And I think that yoga practice, the kind of practice that I'm hoping when I share with you, finds that middle ground between the exhaustion that we can experience and the lethargy, right? It's all about the middle way. So, you know, and the other thing I want to point out to you is that we come to yoga class basically for the physical, but you cannot help but be benefited mentally because you start to focus your mind on something other than all the little things going on outside in the world, all the things that are going on with our lives, whether it's the car, the relationship, the kid, the parent, these, you know what I mean? You get a break from it all. Now, do you think it's still too, if anyone thinks it's too warm in here, Liz is on the thermometer, and at home I hope you're just right. So we're going to start on the floor in child's pose, in the modified child's pose, and then we're going to transition from there into other poses. But the focus of this class is actually to help us just be as functional as we can be, coming into a season where there's so many things that we do that we don't get to do when the weather's cold and snowy. So this is all about just really getting you ready. And also too, we're going to talk about isometrics a little bit. But let's begin in our modified child's pose. So your knees are as wide as the mat. Your big toes are touching. The tops of your feet are flat. So this is a nice little stretch for your insteps. Obviously, if you have ankle issues or knee issues, then you're going to be in puppy pose. Comes up. And either way, if you need added height for your head, you can either use your cushion, you can fold your forearms over, stack your fists, or if you're able, lower your forehead to the floor. Now think about the stretch that's taking place in your spine, your latissimus dorsi, which are these large fan-shaped muscles that attach to a major part of your spine between your thoracic and your lumbar area, and they wrap around towards the side of your body. So as you breathe, just be aware of the muscles being stretched and the breath infusing the body and expanding your core. Mostly being observed in the back and the sides of your body. If your arms are stretched out in front, if it's available, then feel the stretch through the armpit, through the shoulder blades reaching up. And you can use the palms of your hands to press your hips back towards your heels. So this is just an elongated stretch of the torso, of the shoulders. We get to bring our shoulders up around our ears, which normally we don't practice in yoga. And then inhaling, come on up, and I just want to show you how we're going to transition from our proper Balasana, child's pose, so your knees are more together. Modify as you need to. So we're in our proper child's pose, and then we're going to come forward, staying nice and low, into our cow, and then we're going to exhale. Pull the abdomen in, coming into cat, exhaling, pressing your hips back towards your heels. Okay, so let's begin in proper child's pose, You're sending your hips back towards your heels, so we're really kind of warming up the hips here. Hips are really important for being active. And then slowly coming forward, start to hollow out your lower back in cow. And then on an inhale, pressing up. And on an exhale, pull your bellies in and round your spine, pressing it up to the ceiling. Exhale. Take your hips back towards your heels, lengthening your spine. Spread your fingers apart on the floor, kind of grip your mat a little bit. And then slowly coming forward, starting to hollow out your back, shoulders moving back. Inhaling to come up. Exhale, round your spine, pull your bellies in. So as you hold in cat pose with your abs pulled in, this is considered isometric. We'll talk a little bit more about this later, but you're holding, you're maintaining strength. Exhale, take your hips back towards your heels, stretching through the shoulders, which get really hunchy and tight, and then coming forward, staying nice and low like a snake. Wow, yesterday I saw what's called a rat snake. I don't know if anyone's ever seen one. They do what it sounds like. They eat mice, chipmunks, rats. Exhale, and they're harmless to humans. And they're quite beautiful, but if you hate snakes, I guess no snake is beautiful. Coming into cat. But when I hear that they eat mice and, well, listen, I like chipmunks, but they can be a pain. And then exhale, take your hips back towards your heels. We're going to do this 2 more times, the full round. Come forward, stay nice and low. You're kind of lifting your butt as you come forward, hollowing out your lower back. Pressing into your hands, coming up into cat, pull your bellies in, let your head hang, drop your tailbone, hold your belly in here. You can still breathe even when you're isometrically isolating this group of muscles. In fact, in isometrics, you isolate a muscle. Your joints aren't really involved, which is, good if you have arthritis or if you've injured yourself. Isometrics are a great option. And then exhale, take your hips back towards your heels. And last time, nice and low, come forward. You're lifting the bum up, keeping hollow in the lower back, pressing up, coming into cat, and pull your bellies in. So this is isometrically maintaining the strength of your abs. You can still breathe while your belly's being pulled in. Strengthening the abs protects the lower back. If we have weak abs, then our lower back has to do a lot more work or just takes the hit in general. And then relax. Okay, bird dog. Now this will be an example of isometric. So have your wrists below your shoulders, have your knees underneath your hips, and let's bring the shoulders back away from the ears. Feel nice and long and lengthened in your spine. You're going to take your left leg straight out behind you. You can point the foot if you like, bird dog. So isometrically now, we're not really using a joint, but we're maintaining strength in the leg muscles. And now if you move the opposite right arm, this is the full bird dog. So for example, if you have a rotator cuff issue, you don't want to, you won't be using the full motion of that joint. You will lose some of the mobility, but you want to keep the strength and maintain the strength in the muscles while the rotator cuff is healing. Or if you have arthritis, this is also isometric exercises are available and accessible if you have the limitations of arthritis and or an injury. And exhale and release. Inhale, extend the other leg and reach through with the other arm. You can point the toes, you can flex the foot, but when the foot and ankle are active, we activate more muscles. Just that simple. You're reaching the other arm forward, so this is practicing, obviously balance, but isometric type of exercise. Feel your core engaging. There's a lot of muscles engaging here. Isometrically, different groups. One more reach and stretch, and releasing. Okay, come on over onto your backs. And bring your knees in towards your chest. One hand on each knee, rocking from side to side, perhaps making circles. And then we're going to do our happy baby pose. Bringing your arms inside your legs. Take hold of your instep, so start here. And then let's try to bring the ankles directly above the knees. Do your best to get your ankles as close to directly above your knees. Pulling down on your insteps with your hands. Your knees are just outside of your rib cage. So you don't want to pull your knees and thighs into your body. You want your knees just outside of your torso. Pulling down, this obviously is stretching your hamstrings. And we're going to talk about the piriformis in a moment. So you're stretching your hamstrings, your lower back, and of course there's some compression here on the ascending and descending colon to help mobilize waste. I almost want to call it like sludge that can be stuck. And that will do. Let's take hold of our straps. Find them. And we're just going to mobilize the hip joint a little bit more before we do our supine. So did everyone get a strap? They're in the box on the table. Alrighty. So let's start with the left foot. Placing the strap over the ball of the foot keeps your foot flexed. This stretch, of course, excellent for your Achilles tendon when the foot is flexed, the Achilles tendon stretch. So you can hold the strap in your left hand if you're holding your left foot. If you're on the opposite side, then use your right hand. And then just gently lower that left leg open to the left side. Gently, practicing with mindfulness. Being mindful means being in the present moment without any judgment. I remember from last week when we lengthen our exhale, we activate the vagus nerve, which calms the body, creates space, as opposed to tightening, tensing. So this stretches, again, the backs of your legs, your hamstrings, your adductor, inner thigh. And inhale, bring that leg back up. If your other leg is bent, you may wish to straighten it. Let's switch hands so that your opposite hand is now holding the strap. Take your left arm out to the side, the one that's not doing anything, out to the side, and let's lower the leg over to the other side. So you're twisting it across your body. You're going to feel this in your glutes, your IT band, the fascia. Breathe deeply. Do not hold your breath. Just be aware of where you're feeling the most tightness, tension. It's a form of stress in the body. And just breathe into it. Please don't do too much nor too little. You want to feel something, but not pain. Strain is different. Pain is the body's way of saying, stop, back off. So notice, as we're holding, if you're able to release. The release being that your leg may be lowering a little more, or not, because we're practicing mindfully. There's no judgment. It's where we are today. And every day is different. And then inhale, bring that leg back to center. And let's pull the leg toward us. Again, now you could maybe use both hands if you like. Feel your shoulder blades pressing into the floor. Your shoulders may be slightly off the floor. But safely pulling the leg towards you, stretching the hamstring, exhaling, feel the stretch, not too much, feel where it's stretching, the ham, the back of the knee, the calf, the ankle. Keeping some pressure with your hands on your strap. Try to relax the upper body. And that will do. Let's bend that leg and bring the other foot up inside of the strap. And then you can release that first leg down to the floor, either with the bent knee and the foot flat on the floor, or you can straighten the leg. We will be straightening it later. So you've got your left hand holding the strap for the left foot, or if you're on the other side, the opposite. And you're slowly lowering the right leg over to the right side. Hopefully I said right foot. Try to keep your opposite buttock on the floor. Obviously, if you're rolling over to the side, that's facilitating, but not really activating and stretching the adductor, the inner thigh muscle, the groin area. So there are 6 hip muscles that allow the hip to externally rotate. So you are in an external rotation right now with your leg. This is externally rotated. One of those muscles is the piriformis. The piriformis is a pear-shaped muscle, so it's wider at the top where it attaches to the lower spine, and then, like a pear, it narrows where it attaches to the upper thigh. Inhale, bring the leg back to center. And if your opposite leg was bent, please straighten it now. And then with your opposite hand, your left hand holding the strap for the right foot, take it over to the other side. So now we are internally rotating the leg and the hip joint. So the piriformis muscle, and why I'm bringing this up is because if it's tight, it can press onto the sciatic nerve. And you know if you have a sciatic issue because it typically starts deep in your butt, which is where your piriformis muscle is. It runs deep through the glutes, gluteus muscles, and the nerve itself, and there's one on each side, runs all the way down into your feet. So we're stretching the piriformis now, but when we do our next posture, supine pigeon pose, that's where we really get into opening up the space, stretching the piriformis to create space for this sciatic nerve. And the sciatic nerve, the size of it, the thickness of it is almost equal to your baby finger, which is why when the sciatic nerve's not happy, we're not happy. It is a big fat nerve. But by keeping the hips and surrounding muscles stretched, open, relaxed, and as we age, if we don't do these sort of exercises, the hips can really tighten up, the joints become dry, and this is where we could find ourselves with less mobility along with sciatic pain. And then inhale, bring that leg back to the center, and you can use both hands here on the strap. Keeping the strap together might be easiest, so make sure the strap is over the ball of the foot. When it's over the ball of the foot, you end up flexing the ankle more and stretching the fascia, the plantar fascia, on the sole of your foot, and that Achilles tendon, which I believe is the injury that Tiger Woods is experiencing and keeping him off the circuit for the rest of the season. So again, focus your awareness and your attention. Where attention goes, energy follows, sending it to the muscles in the back of the leg. And it's okay to bend the knee. Better to bend the knee a little bit than to hyperextend the back of the knee. And breathe. Gently pulling, taking it to about 90% of the stretch, not 100%. It's like tuning the strings of an instrument. If it's too tight, they snap. Or they just lose their harmony. Deep breathing. Making your exhalations longer than your inhalation. And that will do. You can place the strap off to your side and just extend both legs out in front. And let's bang out the backs of the knees gently on the floor. And then lifting your shoulder blades up and tuck them under your heart. Let's bend the legs. Before we get to supine pigeon, let's just do our bridge pose. So both legs are bent, feet are flat on the floor, your heels are lining up with your sits bones, arms are beside your body with your palms facing down. Once again, you may wish to lift the shoulder blades off the floor, tucking them under your heart. Tilt your chin towards the center of your chest and lengthen the back of your neck. Press the small of your back into the floor. Let's hold here for a moment. Feel your abdominal muscles engaging. Just just by pressing the small of your back into the floor. Keep breathing. We breathe even while the muscles are engaged. This is isometric for your abdominal muscles. And now tilt your tailbone up and peel your spine off the mat. Palms are facing down, pressing into the mat. And then if you're able to bring your arms underneath your torso, interlock your fingers, interlace them. Your knuckles should be pointing towards your heels. You're kind of rocking back and forth on the tops of your shoulders or the outer edges of your shoulders. Your arms should be straight under your body. If they are not straight, if you're unable to straighten them for any reason, then please release your arms back out to the side and slowly lower your torso onto the mat or your arms. Only if your arms are straight, please. If you feel you want to move your heels a little closer to your sit bones, do that now. And on an inhale, press up, strengthening quads, hamstrings, and stretching your abdominal muscles. Lifting your toes off the floor. Just pressing into your big toe mount, your baby toe mount, and the center front of your heel. And starting from the top of your spine, let's lower back down onto the arms one more time or onto your mats. And last time, pressing up. Release your arms, palms are facing down, starting from the top of your vertebra, one at a time. Release your torso down onto your mats. Bring your right knee in towards your chest. Extend your left leg straight out in front. With your left hand, bring your right knee across your body. Twisting. Extend your right arm out to the right side. And perhaps turn your head also gently to the right. We're really warming up the hips because a pigeon pose, whether it is facing the mat or lying on the mat, is pretty intense. Always good to warm up the area that we're about to work. Inhale back to center, draw the left knee up, extend the right leg down in front, and place your right hand on the outside of your left knee and take it across the body. Extend the other arm out to shoulder height and gently perhaps turn your head to the extended arm. Keep a little bit of pressure so you get a really good stretch again through the hip, IT band, your iliotibial band, some of the strongest fascia in the body, the strongest of course on the soles of your feet, your plantar fascia. Stretching through the lats, those large fan-shaped muscles, and coming back into the center. Both legs are bent now, feet flat on the floor. Let's start with our right ankle across and on top of the left knee. Right ankle on left knee. With your right hand, press the right knee slightly away from you, giving a little bit of stretch to the hip flexor, also the muscles surrounding the hip. Remember, there are 6, because we are now going to be externally rotating the left, right hip, right hip. Okay, so bring your left knee towards you. Let's start by interlacing the fingers behind the back of the left knee. Let's keep the shoulder blades on the floor and the head on the floor as well. So feel your 6 muscles, including your piriformis, actively, externally rotating the right hip. Now, pull whatever amount you can, that left thigh, towards you. At this point, if you have a bend in your arms, perhaps you can reach around to the shin of the left leg and interlace your fingers there. If that's not available to you, please maintain your fingers behind the back of your left thigh. And then breathe into that right hip. Again, please practice mindfully with awareness, respect, and compassion for your body. There's nothing to be gained by being violent, hard on, overworking your body, unless you're being paid $1 million, $10 million a year to hit a ball or a puck into a net or a little ball into a hole. It's all about these little spaces that people want to hit things into. I don't know. But if I was being paid that kind of money, I'd work on it too. So just breathe into that hip. Yay, opening hips, releasing all kinds of emotional, mental, detritus, nice word for garbage, crap. And that will do. Let's cross that top leg over the other so the knees are close together. Take your arms out to the side, shoulder height. Press the small of your back into the floor and drop those knees over to the left. And perhaps your head might gently turn to the right. And just take a moment here to stretch things out, to release, to relax. Pigeon pose is one of the best hip openers. Nice stretch here through the pectoralis muscle. So these are the 2 chest muscles that go from the upper chest to your shoulder. Inhale, back to center. Uncross your leg. Center yourself and then bring your left ankle on top of your right knee. With your left hand, press the left knee away from you. So this is a gentle stretch for the hip flexors and also the 6 muscles that externally rotate your hip. And then draw your right knee towards you and interlace your fingers behind the back of your right thigh. Just let the lower part of the leg relax as you pull gently the right thigh towards your torso. And as you do this, notice if you're able to keep your shoulder blades on the mat, and if you have sufficient bend in your elbows, you may be able to bring your fingers around to the front of your right shin. But it's not important that you do that. What is important is that you feel the stretch and release in the left hip, not pain. So focus your awareness, your breathing, your breath to the area of your left hip. Try to relax the upper part of your body and breathe. Making your exhalation at least as long and hopefully longer than your inhalation. This is a good practice to become aware of. It's a great tool for bringing calm into the body and the mind. There's no way of avoiding stress in this life, but we can mitigate and reduce it with tools of slowing down the breathing and lengthening the exhalation. And releasing the hands, bring that top knee crossing over as much as you can so your knees are almost in alignment. Take your arms out to the side and gently drop both knees over to the right side. And gently turn your head perhaps to the opposite side. Breathing into the left side of the body, the rib cage, expanding through the rib cage, the intercostal muscles on an inhale, exhaling fully, collapsing through the lungs. Inhale and exhale, and on an inhale, come back to the center, uncross the legs. You can either roll over onto your side or bring your knees towards your chest. Place your hands underneath the backs of your thighs, and let's rock up to a seated position. So, let's get this one out of the way. Boat pose, Navasana, like it. Now, we did use the strap either last week or the week before, so if your abs are feeling less than energetic today, we can start this way. I'll just show you with the strap, placing it again over the ball of the foot, finding that sweet spot on your behind, and then extending. But you'll notice you're using your abs here, but not as much as you can. But make sure you're activating your abs. Shoulders back, chest lifted, eyes looking up. Pull your bellies in. So once again, we're isometrically contracting the abs. Your thighs, of course, are working. Bending the legs, and come on all the way down. Now you can continue with the strap, or you can go, look, Ma, no hands. All right, so, starting. So now, without the strap, you really feel your core engaging. But please use the strap if you are inclined. So find that sweet spot on your bum, on the back of your bum. And if you lose it, that's okay too. Nice for your spine to rock back. So now, Straighten your legs if you're able. And then coming back to bent knees, release your arms. You may just stay here. This is where the rubber meets the road, if you will. And then maybe straighten your legs. Okay, that'll do. See, we got that okay. Yay! Do a little rocking from side to side. And then place your hands underneath the backs of your thighs to rock up. And come on over. 1, 2. All fours. Curl your toes under. And let's just, if you want to take a sip of water, but let's do this little foot stretch. And I know for a lot of us this can be pretty painful, but it lessens, and it's just so good for your plantar fascia to stretch. Stretch, 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 and breathe, breathe, breathe. Okay, place your hands on the floor, roll back onto the soles of your feet, bend your knees, please let your head hang, knees are bent. And we're going to slowly roll up one vertebra at a time, keeping your chin tucked into your chest. Let your head be the last thing to come up. And then inhale, shoulders up towards ears. Exhale. Let's take our arms once again behind our backs. I just find this is such a great opener for the chest, release of the shoulders, all that tension. And give your arms a shake out. And come on up to the fronts of your mat. Sri Namaskar, sun salutations. Oh gosh, it feels so good. It was an intense weekend. Hillary knows. Okay, inhaling in place. Exhale, hands in prayer. Step your feet apart. Arms up, reach up, look up, arc, extend. Opening the front of your body, feel that stretch all the way down to your pelvis. And then inhale, bring your feet back together, lift up out of your waist. Exhale, hinge from the tops of your hips, tops of your legs. Reach forward as you fold. Please let your heads hang. Step your left leg back, drop the knee to the mat. Bring your hands onto your right knee. Focus your gaze. On an inhale, let's lift up. And we're going to hold here in this high lunge. Fingers are active. So again, this would be considered isometric. You are isolating certain muscle groups, holding. Basically, if you're practicing isometric exercises, 30 seconds is kind of the minimum. Press through that back heel, focus your gaze. This is where yoga starts to get into being meditative. When we hold and we focus, the rest of the world dissolves. It becomes all about you. Turn your hands forward, spread your fingers apart. Take that front leg back, coming into whatever version of plank pose is best for you. Might be with your knees down and your ankles crossed. If you're holding the full plank, please pull your bellies in. Again, isometrically contracting. Not many joints are not involved in isometric exercises, which is why I said earlier, for people with arthritis or an injury. Now, obviously, if you have a shoulder injury or wrist injury, you're not holding in plank. So you're pulling your bellies in, reaching through the crown of your head. If anything, your bum pokes up as opposed to sagging. And then let's release the knees. Flatten the tops of the feet, so toes are pointing backwards. Leave your hands where they are. And stretch out the shoulders, the wrists, and arms, and spine. And And taking your hips back towards your heels. Exhaling fully. Nice stretch here for not only the latissimus dorsi, but the serratus anterior muscles. And we'll talk about those in a moment as well. And then leave your hands where they are. Lower your forearms and elbows. Keep your bum high. And come forward until your chest and your chin are on the mat. So people that are tight in the thoracic area, this will be a great antidote for releasing some of the tightness. And it's also awesome for keeping your spine flexible and supple and in alignment. Slide everything up behind you. Draw your fingertips back to align with the tops of your shoulders. Lower your forehead to the mat. Bring your elbows into your rib cage and press your forearms down towards the floor. Tops of your feet are flat. Press your hips and pelvis into the mat. Roll an invisible alley with your nose to lengthen your neck. On an inhale, without using your hands, you're lifting head, neck, shoulders, chest, maybe even part of your diaphragm off the mat. Eyes rolling up towards your third eye, Ajna chakra. Eyes can be open or closed. Shoulders stay away and down from your ears. Shoulder blades sliding down your back. And you can feel the muscles of your back working to hold you because it's not your hands. Curl your toes under. Press your hips up. Walk your feet a couple of inches forward. Bend your knees. As you bend your knees, press your sits bones towards the back wall to lengthen your spine. Align your ears with your inner arms. And now press your heels towards the floor and breathe. So inversions are excellent for enlivening your circulation. It kind of reverses things. Obviously the stretch in your legs, the lengthening of your spine. But inversions are important for keeping your circulatory system in tip-top condition. Reach your left leg up in the air, look at your left hand and swing that foot as far forward as you can. Other leg forward and let your upper body just hang. Relax your neck, relax your head. Arms beside your ears. Pull your kneecaps up to engage your thighs. Sweep the arms in front, reaching up, feet apart for balance. Look up, arc back. Inhale, feet come back together. Lift up out of your waist. Exhale, forward fold, bend your knees. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up. Exhale, hands in prayer. Okay, we're going to do the trifecta of standing postures to strengthen your quads and your hips. You put it all together, so basically it's warrior 1 to 2 to triangle. Alrighty, starting at the front of your mat, step your right leg back 1 leg length. Have the heel of your front foot create a straight line through the arch of your back foot. Bend your front knee. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Warrior 2. I guess reversing this, I said warrior 1 first, but it's all good. Pressing into the outside of your back foot stretches that adductor muscle, inner thigh groin, keeping this knee pressing towards the outside of your mat strengthens that adductor muscle. Holding the posture strengthens your quads, arms and shoulders. Inhale, straighten that front leg, and then lower and bring that front arm inside of the front leg, reach the top arm up. Visualize that top arm directly above the bottom arm. And you're reaching up with your top arm. Stretch up, reach up. You can feel your core working here. And lower that top arm. And now scooch your back foot a little bit forward, maybe a whole foot. And then take your feet apart so that you are easily rotating your hips, chest, shoulders to the front of your mat. Bend your front knee. Inhale, sweep the arms up. So when we're holding in Warrior one of the muscles that's active here is the serratus anterior. It is responsible for the movement of the shoulder blade. You can think of it as your boxing muscle. Okay? Boxing, that serratus anterior is what moves the shoulder blade. Fingers are active, holding. In fact, if you really focus, you can feel muscles working as opposed to, so isometrically contracting muscles. And releasing. Bring the legs together. This is the heat still on. Or is it completely off? You turn it on. Yeah, if it's, I don't know if it's on. Okay. Thank you. Just, yeah, turning it to the left. All right, step the left leg back. And again, heel of front foot creates a straight line through the arch of the back foot. I know I say this a lot, but I'm looking around and so the heel, the arch, not the foot, the arch. All right? The importance of alignment. Bend that front knee, look down and see your big toe inside of the knee. You're going to have to work at it because it wants to do that. Press into the outside. I'm slapping myself. I am some bad girl. Okay. Stretching the arms. Really stretching. All the muscles are active here. Shoulders stay down. Neck is nice and long. And you're lifting up in the sternum. And then inhale, straighten your front leg, and just hinge from your hips, coming into Trikonasana, triangle pose, reaching that top arm straight up. Both palms should be facing the direction of your nose. So rotate that top palm to face the side of your mat, and then really stretch up, really reach up. You can feel this in your core, working that core. And then inhale, come on up. You can lower that back arm. And then scooch that back foot up and take the front foot wider. And you're also going to turn your back foot a little bit more forward for ease of orientating your hips towards the front of your mat, your chest and your shoulders. And then bend your front knee. Look that your knee is tracking over your middle toes. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Keep your shoulders down. Make your fingers feel as if they're holding something heavy. In fact, I was thinking, you know, a lot of us, well, we work hard, right? So if you're carrying something, sometimes I think this is isometric. If you're holding something, you can work your bicep just by holding. So it doesn't exactly fit the definition of not letting a crisis go to waste, but you know, if you have an opportunity to strengthen your muscles while you're doing the rest of the stuff you're doing, why not? Work one pot. Like Atlas holding the world. And inhale. Let's turn sideways on our mats and spread the feet wide apart. and turn the toes out. Actually, let's do a goddess pose just before I do that. So bring your feet in a little bit closer than we were going to. But your feet are turned out. Try to have your knees focused over your middle toes, and then sit thy butt down, keeping the knees out, and inhale, reaching arms up. So again, isometrically strengthening the quads and the hams. You're breathing. You can feel these muscles working. Yeah. Inhale, come on up. Bring the arms out to shoulder height. Now please widen your stance and have your toes pointing. So take your feet as, at least 3 feet apart. Exhale, fold from your hips. Halfway. Tense your fingers just under your face. And then let's lunge over to the left. Bringing bum as close to heel as you can, stretching the quads that you've been working, or the inner thigh as well. Inhaling up into the center, exhaling over to the other side, and back into the center, tenting your fingers below your face. Let's inhale, sweep the left arm up, so you're on the fingertips on the floor and you're reaching up. Stretching again the inner thigh, releasing stress from the hips. Exhale, float it down. Inhale, sweep the other arm up. Exhale, float it down. Let's walk the feet in towards one another. And bring your bodies down onto the mat. Draw the knees once again into the chest. One hand on each. Let's make some big circles and let's widen our knees so we can cover off more of the hip area, the haunches. We're making big circles, changing the direction, moving however it feels good to you. And then extend your legs down in front. If you have an iPad or something to cover your eyes with, if you don't have an iPad and you are able to just gently place your fingers over top of your eyes, having a little bit of pressure on this part of the eye. There's an ocular neural nerve that a little bit of pressure alerts this nerve to relax, to let go. Allow your feet to splay out. Separate the biting surfaces of the teeth, relaxing the jaw. And let your body be soft and heavy. Become aware of your breathing without manipulating or controlling it. A quote from Marcus Aurelius, who said, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them." And a woman I know, and perhaps some of you also know her, Robin Preboy, said something that I love. It's completely different, but it's an example of how we can maintain our youth through our spirit. And that is, Robin said, I live a small, deep life. When I take a shower, I think I'm in the Amazon. And it's a perfect example of an idea that Jane Fonda expresses in a TED Talk called The Third Act. I think some of you have heard of it and listened to it. And if you haven't, it reminds us that our spirits are what keep us ageless, youthful, joyful even. They are eternal. They don't have an age. They don't have birthdays. We have birthdays because of a physical birth. But the spirit, being eternal, has no death and has no birth. And that speaks to, I think it's BKS Iyengar who said, yoga is a light which once lit will never dim. Inhaling the life force long, full, and deep, exhaling. Long, full, deep, inhaling, and deep exhaling. Inhale and stretch your arms over behind your heads, reach and stretch, point feet far, flex and point. And float your arms down back beside your bodies. Taking a moment to roll over onto your side, perhaps bending your knees and using your bottom arm as a pillow. Just spending a moment. Acknowledge yourself for showing up to take care of your body. And another quote that's attributed to many different people was, if I'd known how long I was going to live, I would have taken better care of my body. And by practicing yoga, you are truly taking great care of your body and your mind, and you know that you are a spiritual being inside of a physical body. So smile and know you are eternal. Using your top arm to press yourself back up into a seated posture. If you wish, please join me in chanting Om once. Inhaling together. Om Shanti, peace, namaste. Alrighty, Tip Top Magoo. Any questions or comments are welcome. Have a great day and watch everything pop after this rain. Pop, pop, pop. So no, the stress, some of the stress was, people say, oh, turn the water on yourself at the cabin, you save money. My turn on for my cabin is up at the top of a hill, and then I'm chatting to a neighbor who's telling me about somebody else's problems, and then by the time I get down to the cabin, oh, I hear water. I see water all over the floor, all over my kitchen. The pipe under the sink is broken. All that water, I'm like, oh yeah. That was just one of a few stresses. But you know, Woody Allen said, tragedy plus time equals comedy. So now I'm like, it is what it is. And you know, it's a puny problem compared to lots of people. In fact, they even have a place to go there and exercise my adrenals. Oh, you got that much water? Stephanie, no, I don't know. Stephanie, you can cut your hair. Okay, well, nice to see you. I hope I can talk to you soon. Thank you, good to see you. What did this workout say?
Oh, back to the gym that it was.
Is that, who is, oh, Stevie Nicks.